All right. Let's go, baby. It's Friday. We got basketball this weekend. Oh, baby. We got a little portal talk. We're going to talk nasty portal talk. That's what we're about to do. Let's go, baby. 3, 2, 1. Yo. What's going on, Arkansas Razorback fans? We got a few SEC fans that tune in as well. Shout out to you guys as also. Shout out to you. Do me a favor. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. There we go. All right. Trying to get this. This chair's comfortable. I feel like it's caught on something on the damn rug. All right. I think we're situated. It makes noises too. Sounds like I'm farting. I promise you I'm not. See if I can get a good one here. You hear it? Can you hear it? Do I have my mic up enough? Yeah. Anyways. All right. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks for being here. Patreon supporters. We're crushing it. We're doing good. We're trending upwards. We added some more people over the last we added one today. And he's already DMing me. Shout out. I will go back and read the rest of your comments. I promise you I will. Or for those of you who are DMing me in Patreon, I love it because it shows you're active there. You're actually participating. So it encourages me to put even more, not just on Patreon Discord over here, but also on the actual Tuss Talk Patreon page. So maybe we'll get some more content there flowing soon. All right. Questions or comments, please feel free to fire away. Super Chat is up and rolling. We've got in the title, we're talking, what is in this one's title? We've got Andrew Armstrong coming back. He's back. He'll be a Razorback for 2024. I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on that. Taylen Green, transfer quarterback. We've talked about him in Patreon chat in Discord. Quarterback from Boise State. We'll get to that in a minute, and we're going to try and break down Arkansas and Oklahoma, which is tomorrow. Tomorrow, it's a day game. Okay, don't be thinking you could just spend the whole day doing whatever the hell you want. Right? You got to watch the Razorbacks actually play. Okay, make sure we get the shares out there. Make sure you like and share. Okay. Shout out, of course, to the show sponsors. Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. They operate out of Central Arkansas and in Northwest Arkansas. They provide same-day services, quality parts, affordable outcomes. Okay, they're running a 10% off deal right now for any garage door repair. 10% off. Give them a holler. Their link is provided for you down below, or you could always give them a call, 501-244-3667. And, of course, the Odd Soul Craft Bar and Pizzaria. They're awesome. Great pies, IPAs on tap, local IPAs on tap. Great environment. I've never had anything there that I don't like. It's just an awesome place. I'm so honored to have either of these guys on as sponsors, the Odd Soul or the Direct Service Overhead. But shout out to them as well. I have their menu. I've got some really cool pictures in Discord. If you're a little curious about the vibe, right? Pictures give off vibes. You can go check out some shots there. We got a couple shots at the outside of the building and the inside. All right. Yeah. Hope you guys have had a great week. YOLO. What's up, John Oliver? 6-hour intro. It was like 3 minutes. Listen, for anyone that complains about the intro, guys, it's a live show, right? It's a live. I interact with chat. I gotta fill chat. I gotta get some people in here. Right? We got to get people in here. So I give it about a 4 or 5 minute window, sometimes less, maybe a little more. Complain about the intro all you want, but it's a live show. This isn't, it's not a instant boom, there we go, right? We gotta do the intros, get sponsors, shout out to Patreon and everything. It's also a part of getting people in here because people will come in later and they're gonna ask me questions about things that I had already talked about, which I don't mind doing, or they can always go back and watch the beginning. Yo, what up, Ty? What's up, Chris? How you doing, man? How you doing? I sure hope someone screen grabs that. Wait, what? Screen grabs what? What are you talking about? Sean Drury, who has now changed his picture to me. I'm flattered, by the way. Dan, I'm glad for the long intro. YouTube doesn't notify me, and that's another reason why. I'm battling YouTube. They're not sending out noties. Your chair fart noises. Oh yeah. Yeah, it doesn't. I don't know if you could pick them up, but this one's pretty loud. What's up, Ty? Nice to make it live. I'm so thankful to have you here, Steven. Thank you. All right. Well, let's get started. Let's get on to the very first topic. Now that we've got a few minutes, we got everything out of the way there, we can get going. I'm sure someone will complain. Arkansas is getting a visit. From Boise State quarterback Taylen Green. Now, Patreon supporters already know quite a bit about Green. I have been in communication with Stephen Hamner of QB Spotlight. He's had some thoughts. I shared those with the Patreon chat. I'm going to have to bring him on again and get a breakdown on see what Stephen Hamner has to say about him and some other possible options at quarterback. I'm going to have to get him back on next week and see him see what else he has to say. But yeah, he sent me, it's a group chat that I'm in, just kind of breaking down some quarterbacks, and he broke him down. Kind of what I expected. And again, I'm going to get into that. Let's get some things out of the way though really quick about Taylen Green. He has offers as soon as he went into the portal. Arkansas, Miami, Michigan State. We know that they just had a coaching change. Oregon State coach is now at Michigan State. His quarterback, Childs, is that his last name? Aiden Childs, I think, big-time four-star quarterback. He moved over there with his head coach, so you've already got competition there. You never know, though, right? Cal, Oregon State, and others reportedly have made contact, and that's from something posted, I think, 2 days ago. So God only knows how many more offers. He's piling up some offers, and there's got to be a reason for that. I think Bobby Petrino actually recruited him when he was at Missouri State, if I'm not mistaken, because he was a redshirt sophomore this year, or a true sophomore, one of the two. He was a sophomore one way or another. He's either a 2-year sophomore or a 3-year. This is where it gets a little strange. They apparently had some issues on offense this year a little bit. He lost the starting job. They were kind of doing this 2-quarterback system, or I don't really know the full details there, but I guess he lost the job against New Mexico. Maddox Madsen, who's a freshman, beat him out, but then Madsen later suffers an injury that put him out for the rest of the year. So Taylen Green comes back out, plays, I guess, obviously he plays better because in the Mountain West Championship, he's named the MVP. I mean, there's videos on this guy. They're comparing him to Vince Young. I just saw a video when I was pulling up his some highlights of him earlier today. They're making some crazy ass comparisons. He's 6'6", okay, 220 pounds. Most of the content that I've seen on him, it's showing off his ability to run the football. He had a really good run. I don't remember who it was against, but he had like a 70-yard run. I want to say it was his freshman year, I believe. So, again, 6'6", 220 reminds you of somebody, right? Who else was 6'6", wasn't really known for his arm talent, but was known to be a burner. We all know it was Matt Jones, right? Now, this kid is not – stop your hate. Stop the angry – I can hear your keyboard now, okay? You guys know Matt Jones, no one compares to Matt Jones in my book, okay? Just his pure athleticism, and there's so much to love about what Matt Jones did here. And he fits certain offenses, right? Matt Jones wasn't going to be a fit in the air raid offense or a pro style, offense like a Dan Enos system. He wouldn't have benefited from that. He'd benefit from the RPO era for sure, but he certainly excelled in the option game. And he was a human highlight reel for Arkansas. No one compares to Matt Jones, but I did watch some of his scrambles, and there's one where he's running down the sidelines, and guys who take a proper angle on him Still couldn't catch him. Now, I think I don't know what his 40 is. I have no idea. I definitely don't believe it's 4.37 40. But when you watch him run, he's taken up. This is where it reminds me of Matt. On TV, he doesn't look that fast. It's when you see him in person, you're like, oh my God, this dude is unreal. In person, you couldn't believe what Matt could do. Now, again, the only thing these two have in common is they're both good runners, and they're both 6'6", 220 pounds. We're not talking about a 6'6", 205-pound beanpole. I mean, we're talking about a guy, a little bit of weight on him, not much. Matt, by the time he was drafted, was like 242. And that's when he ran that unbelievable 4.37 40, laser timed, But that's about the only thing these two, just because you're tall and you have speed doesn't mean you're Matt Jones, okay? Again, Matt Jones to me is on a pedestal, right? I'm putting Matt Jones on a pedestal. This guy has some promise. His PFF grades are not super great. His clean pocket pass completion percentage, I believe, was worse than KJ's. His under pressure percentage was, I don't know what it was compared to KJ's, but it wasn't great. There are some, and again, all the highlights I saw were just him running the ball. It's not to say that there wasn't some where he made a couple of impressive throws. And this is what Stephen Hamner said. Stephen Hamner just kind of said it was a year of it was like basically a mixed bag of a season for him. So and we've touched on him a little bit. We talked about him. Well, this week we talked about Green. I think he's a long-term development quarterback, and it wouldn't shock me if they did land him out of the portal that they still go after another quarterback. Or this guy doesn't beat out Jacoby Criswell and they focus on Jacoby Criswell for this year, and what they're selling to Taylen Green is, look, you're a long-term guy here now. In this day and age, you just don't see people dipping into the portal. You don't see teams dipping into the portal, and you don't see players going into the portal to just go somewhere and sit. So maybe that's not what's going to happen, but I just don't know if this guy is ready to come in and take over an above Petrino coached offense, which we all know is not super simple. Tyler Wilson will tell you that. I've heard Ryan Mallett, may he rest in peace, had also said something similar. This is not an offense where a guy's going to have a single offseason and you put the product out on the field and he's excelling at a high level. So I don't want anyone to don't get it twisted. I think if they're bringing him here, I think they're probably telling him you're going to be our guy, but it also wouldn't shock me if they're trying to convince him that we need you here for a minimum of 2 years so we can develop you into 2025. Not everyone wants to hear that. And when you have all these offers on the table, which is where this is going to get really interesting moving forward, what are these other schools telling him? Now, we know they're probably, Sam's put it out there. They're probably talking NIL. They're giving him numbers. But are they telling him, look, dude, you're going to come in and you're going to play day one? Like, Michigan State, they've got this change at quarterback or change at head coach. You've got some of these teams that are going after him. Think of all the movement we've seen. It's uncanny, whether it's coaching changes or players in and out of the portal. I don't know. This one's tricky for me because I think his ceiling could be pretty high. And I want to say it was Scott Fisher. Is that the YouTube channel I was hating on a couple of weeks ago because I thought he did a breakdown of Arkansas football in the season, and I just didn't think it was very good. Please don't go look it up. Don't take my word for it. Double check what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure he had a video last year or about 9 or 10 months ago come out because, again, it came across my screen. I think it was him where he's comparing this guy to great quarterbacks. So clearly there are people who've done a hell of a lot more research on him than I have who believe he could be big time. I'm telling you what little I've seen, and based on numbers, which do not tell, they don't paint the whole picture. They only paint the backdrop maybe or the outlines. They don't paint the whole thing, but what I'm seeing is screaming this guy may not be ready for an offense in the SEC under a demanding offensive coordinator who operates a pretty, it requires a certain mind, I think, to operate it well. I'm not saying, you've got to be a rocket scientist, but you've certainly got to be, I think, you got to have a pretty high IQ, I think, to come in and operate the offense out the gate. I know someone's gonna refer to, how cerebral were these other quarterbacks? Tyler Wilson, I was told, talking about past Bobby Petrino quarterbacks. I've heard both Ryan Mallett and Tyler Wilson. You know, when Bobby Petrino talks about Ryan, he talked about having trust in Ryan when they made a call or whatever. He knew that Mallett, they're on the same page, right? Same with Tyler Wilson. Maybe this guy has that. You know, it's not like you're bringing in a freshman or a redshirt freshman. You're talking about a guy with 2 or 3 years under his belt at a level above high school football. Even though it's Group of 5 football, even though it's Boise State, I mean, that still says something, right? And I believe, again, please correct me if I'm wrong, Petrino recruited this guy. So, yeah. All right, hit the likes, y'all. What's up, Beer Talk? How you doing, man? Hope you guys are all doing swell. Yeah, make sure you like and share. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. So tell me what you think on Taylen Green. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Draft Scout has him at 4.5, 340. Are you okay? So you're talking about Taylen Green. That wouldn't shock me, and that's moving, by the way, for a quarterback. That is absolutely moving. Sean Drury says excited about Jacoby's potential. Brazil status, as far as I know, I don't think there's any plans of him playing against Oklahoma. We're going to get to that here in a little bit. Got the stature, built like Ryan Mallett. Well, I mean, again, just because you're tall, I'd say he's probably closer to a Matt Jones. If you're talking about like type of quarterback, I'm not saying this dude is Matt, but tall, athletic, can move really well. Chris, yeah, we're going to talk about this. Is actually where I'm segueing into next, actually, is Andrew Armstrong. Why are we acting like Armstrong is a top SEC wide receiver, or is it more about him sticking around? Okay, that's a really good question. And I love that you asked that, because I'm kind of in agreement to a degree. I'm kind of in an agreement here. This is not a guy that lit the world on fire. However, I think he's someone who's a victim of the Enos offense, and he's a victim of atrocious offensive line play, and even, KJ struggling like he did this year. I really think he's got high potential. Now, Tesla, I thought the same. I mean, we're talking about guys, and this is what's crazy. We're talking about a secondary in spring and certainly in fall camp, and Armstrong was one of the guys that stood out, who would burn some of the best DBs on the field, who would burn them. I mean, whether they were running fades, corners, slants, comeback routes, it didn't matter. They were torching these guys. Now, before someone says, yeah, well, secondary, blah, 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 secondary was pretty damn good. In fact, there were most of the year, I would argue, was one of the highlights of this defense. You've got guys that just excelled in that secondary, and Woodson and company, that whole secondary staff, the whole defensive staff did a really good job. And it felt like, now that we look back on it, we often heard them talk about iron sharpening iron. KJ says that every other time he talks with the media. Maybe the only people who got anything out of that was the secondary. I don't know what happened. To me, that's evidence, at least, that, okay, well, the receivers looked great. Armstrong was one of the most consistent receivers throughout fall camp, certainly throughout fall camp. Tesla making these crazy one-handed, these crazy catches. It was unreal. I'm telling you guys in Discord, these guys are making circus catches. This is nuts. It looked like, oh, my God, the receivers are going to be fantastic, or the secondary was going to be bad. I said at the beginning of the year they're going to be cheeks. They were still going to suck, but we were going to see improvement. They didn't suck. They didn't. I was wrong about that. Now, they weren't elite. We're not talking about top 10, top 20 passing yards allowed. They still ended up, I think, right outside the top 30. Top 40, somewhere in there. Now, also, if you look at it now, you got to keep in mind there are teams who've played a 13th game. They played their conference championship. So it's kind of hard to look at those numbers now and get a real good idea of just how good or bad some teams were if you're just looking at the stats on NCAA on the stat sheet, where I go to get the majority of my stats. But they were they were solid. At the very least, that was a very solid secondary. So guys like Andrew Armstrong looked terrific. Centennia, who I thought was very consistent. It was very strange to hear Pittman talk about he needed to catch more balls in practice. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, this must be happening when the media is not there, because when we got to watch fastball or, whatever, if they're doing drills with receivers, just throwing the balls to receivers or whatever, don't know that I ever saw him drop a single pass. I mean, I'm not saying he never dropped one, but I don't know that I ever saw it. So I need to rephrase that. I don't know that I ever saw him drop more than maybe a pass, if memory serves correctly. So Andrew Armstrong came out of that as I thought, as all things considered, I think it's probably a good thing, but I don't believe that this is a dynamite, oh my God, this is terrific, everyone's like losing their minds type of thing where, wow, he's back, oh my God, there's an All-American. I don't know what he does next year. He's going to be in an entirely different offense. He might be in an offense that he's going to benefit from greatly. Now, his numbers, his offensive numbers, he grades out at 75.7. He never graded higher this year than he did against LSU, where he graded out at 78.4. So, take with whatever you want, whether you believe in PFF scoring or not. For those of you who do, that's where he ended up. So, at least as far as PFF is concerned. Now, he did catch 56 balls, almost 800 yards receiving. So that's about 14 yards per reception, 5 receiving touchdowns. That's not bad. Those aren't bad numbers, all things considered. Oh, my God, they're not bad numbers at all. Tesla was at 34 grabs, 351 yards. Luke look how much of the year that dude missed out on. He was third on the receiver list, 16 grabs, 253 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Boy, he's on his way. I hope that he just, it's going to be a new offense for him. Well, for everybody. But versus the offense that he was excelling at, right? Which was Dan Enos, who has kind of a reputation for utilizing tight ends in both blocking and in the pass game. So we'll see what happens there. Ty Washington, we know, is coming back. We're still waiting on Centennia. I don't know. No one's talked about that. Centennia, who didn't really get much of an opportunity until the end of the year, but he still ended up with 15 grabs, 129 yards, almost 9 yards per reception with 2 touchdowns. So I get it. The Andrew Armstrong stuff is like, okay. What was Matt Lander's numbers? Very similar Matt Lander's type numbers. He wasn't a game changer, but can he be? Can he be in the Petrino offense? It's going to depend on what they do up front of the offensive line and what they do at quarterback. Sean Drury says our receivers are going to look better with Petrino. When Petrino was here before, every receiver mattered and had production, running back, tight end included. Yeah, I hope that's the case, Sean, but they're going to need – the offensive line needs so much freaking help. And again, that's kind of where I'm a little bit shocked that they haven't – that we're not hearing about just offer after offer after offer. And maybe they just haven't been reported yet. Maybe I've missed some of them, but to the offensive line. Yeah, make sure you guys hit the like button. Please hit the like as you're coming in. If anyone remembers, DJ Williams got some action. Yeah, he did. Just over 1 catch per game for the third leading catches on the team is atrocious. Well, yeah. Well, that whole situation, Steven, was bad, and I know you know that. I'm trying to scroll up here and look at chat. I watched that video by Scott, and yes, it was ass. Which one was that, Paul? Which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the Arkansas breakdown video? Dude, I don't ever want to bring down another creator at all. That is not who I am. But I've never been more frustrated watching a video than that video. I don't want to go in on that again, but that video, breaking down Arkansas season, it's like all he did was he looked at draft potential of players and just looked at the wins and losses and maybe some stats. It did not come off to me like someone who actually watched more than maybe a half of Arkansas football this year. I don't know. If he had, then he must have cut out a whole bunch of that video, which is also possible. We won't have receiver routes with 2 or 3 of them standing next to each other. Oh, my God. Oh, Mark. Oh, my God. You're going to give me acid reflux thinking about that. Oh, what were they doing? How much of that is on Enos, Kenny Guyton? Y'all do me a favor. Convince me why. And I don't want to see anybody get fired. I mean, I really don't. I have left jobs. Have I ever been fired? Oh, a temp agency one time. Yeah. Temp agency did way back in like 03. 03, maybe 04. Anyways, I've been there. It's been a while. It sucks. But y'all have got to explain to me why Kenny Guyton should still be the wide receiver coach. I don't know, man. You know, I like at least Jimmy. We've seen the guy and seen what he can do. He's going to get tested big time. He already was this year. But again, we know the product just wasn't a finished product. Not all creators are created equal, that's for sure. The guy's got a huge following. I've seen some of his other videos. I think he does a great job. It feels like he puts a lot of time and energy. You know, the production, like the value of it's really good. Boy, that one was just rough. I kept going, oh my God, dude. Like, what? It is what it is. Listen, I've got my own critics, you know, people who hate my guts. The guy from Rivals has tweeted out 5 to 6 O linemen they are after. It's not enough. It's not enough considering you're probably going to get turned down by more than half. Now, they have one guy right now committed out of the portal that I do like, the kid out of Michigan State. All right. So, Taylen Green, Andrew Armstrong, Taylen Green. We've got those two parts of the show kind of we're in, right? We've those are 2 topics that are certainly that everyone wants to talk about. I cannot go on for long on this one. I really can't. In fact, I want to keep it under 40 minutes. We have a school thing to go to tonight at Lisa Academy in Springdale. Our daughters are going to be presenting their they've been working on this project, so they're going to have these things they put together on display, and so we're going to go check it out and maybe eat some dinner. Okay. What else do we have going on here? Let's do a poll here really fast. Excited. I think this is an okay one. Excited for Armstrong to return. Are you excited? Does that excite? Is that a positive? So here we go. There we go. All right. Yeah, yes, no, or meh are your options. So meh isn't really no. It's like, you know what I mean? No would be like, no, I'm not excited. All right, think about that. Like, yeah, I'm excited. Or no, I'm not. Or nah. There you go. All right. Every offensive lineman that has been mentioned is from Group of 5 schools. I have noticed that, other than the Michigan State kid, who was a JUCO, right? Wasn't he a JUCO? When he went to Michigan State, I feel like there's so many kids. I'm getting them mixed up. G5 schools are smaller, except the Michigan State commit and the one from Georgia. Yeah, the rest are San Diego State. Yeah. I mean, he was our go-to guy. If they can develop him on a Petrino offense, he could be very good, says Taylor Roppins. All right, so then you're probably a yes, right, Taylor? You're going to be a yes. Make sure, again, you guys like, share, and if you're new here, hit the subscribe button. We're growing, man. This small independent, a truly independent channel. We're growing. Sponsors on board. Patreon supporters. Ooh, baby. Let's go. I've been dipping in watching some other content, hog content here and there on YouTube, and I'm giving them a hello. So, yeah, support everybody. There's a new podcast. There's former players and their shows, using their platform. They're taking off. Got a lot of shows. Hopefully that brings more people to YouTube, more Razorback fans to YouTube. Yeah, well, the PFF is kind of tricky about those scores, John. That's their system. It's going to be higher based on that, right? So, like, if they were in Power 5, yeah, their numbers probably wouldn't be as high, right? Because they're facing a different quality of opponent. All right, Arkansas and Oklahoma. This is where things get interesting. Might be the best opponent Arkansas's played all year. I mean, UNC Greensboro looked like they were going to lose. Was that last night, night before last? They came back and won. I think they were trailing by as much as it was double digits, I'm pretty sure. It looked like they were going to lose, and they came back and won that game. UNC Greensboro, it's kind of crazy, but that they certainly are playing like a tournament team. I mean, a team that can face some adversity like that and find a way to win. Doesn't matter who you're playing against. I don't care who the opponent is. That shows a lot of guts, a lot of moxie. And we all love a little of that, right? We love those things, guts and moxie and the want to, the drive to win a game. UNC Greensboro showing that off. Let's take a look at the bracket here really quick. I know it is early, but you know what? It's out there. It's worth talking about. Oklahoma, who Arkansas is about to play, currently a 7 seed, according to Mr. Joe Lenardi. Now, this was updated just 3 days ago, so he updates, I think, the same time every week. There's some interesting, right? So Purdue's still a 1. Memphis has dropped down to a 9 seed. Alabama currently a 5 seed. UNC Greensboro, 13 seed. Lipscomb, Arkansas's got to play them, 15 seed. A&M is as high as 4. Kentucky is 6. North Carolina a 3. And like I said, Oklahoma a 7. Auburn a 7. Trying to go over here. Duke's a 6 seed currently in the Charlotte. He's got him in the Charlotte, the Boston side of the bracket here. Let's see. Mississippi State is an 8 seed. Not surprising seeing some of these teams. Way too early. We're not even in conference play. Again, we're just kind of going over some. OBS studio. What is going on lately? Am I still connected? Did I disconnect? Can y'all still hear me? Now I'm getting alerts. My computer's telling me that we just lost connection. Now it's back. Are we good? You're back. Okay, so did it lose connection for a second? Sound in and out. What the hell is going on? Yeah, I'm seeing sound on OBS. It's registering my voice. Boy, I tell you what. You hear. Okay, that's what matters. Again, this is just another reason why we got to book it here. All right. So, anyways, a lot of teams, Arkansas. I mean, listen, you still got some teams left. Again, you got Oklahoma, who's currently a 7, Lipscomb a 15, and UNC Wilmington, who had a big victory not long ago over a SEC school. They're currently a 14 seed. So you have 3 teams left before you get into conference play that are currently seeded. That according to Lenardi, could potentially be postseason March dancers. Let's go over Oklahoma here really quick, and I've got a lot of numbers. This is a team, when you talk about field goal efficiency, guys, they score points. They're 13th in the country right now in percentage, shooting almost 51% through 8 games, playing pretty well. Now, the first thing people wonder about, 3-point attempts. Is this a team that wants to shoot the 3 ball? They're ranked currently 144th in the country in 3-ball attempts. They're averaging about 22 attempts per game. They don't do well here. They're not a great team. Well, we know how this works. They're not a great 3-point shooting team, but they're going to shoot 12 of 24. They're going to shoot 50% unless Arkansas's perimeter defense doesn't step up. They're 55th in fast break points. They're averaging about 15 points a game in fast break. Turnovers Right now, they're averaging about 13 turnovers a game. They're 188th, 187th in the country there. Arkansas is 156th at 12 per game, so them and Oklahoma are pretty close there. Points per game, they're a top 25 scoring team right now. And they've played, before you go, well, who they played some pretty good teams, right? I mean, they just beat Providence, who comes out of a very competitive conference, currently 7-2. They beat the crap out of these guys, 72-51. Now, maybe Providence, they don't look like a tournament team, or at least they didn't against Oklahoma. I saw some highlights of that game. I've watched OU play a little bit this year. McCollum in that game went off, 7 boards, 4 assists, 3 steals, 19 points. He did turn the ball over a little much with 3. Owa, I can't pronounce his name, 4 turnovers, but he had 3 boards and 13 points. But Uzin had 4 steals, 17 points, 12 rebounds. That cat had a double-double. These guys are capable scorers. They can create turnovers or force turnovers. Very, very. They look to me like a very polished team this early in the year. You know what? We got to switch our camera or our background here. Boom, there we go. We're talking Arkansas basketball. Let's get it right. OU's pretty damn impressive. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. They're undefeated, and while I think, they're going to be fine in the Big 12, they're eventually going to lose. Maybe it's to Arkansas, maybe not. Now, Brazil, not likely to play. He might travel. I don't know if they risk that or not. They're going to need some folks to step up, right? I mean, you're going to need Mekhi Mitchell, Graham. You're going to need these cats to step up. Lawson, of course. Lawson, who went off against Furman, 19 points, just 3 rebounds, but he had a steal and he had 3 blocks. Going to have to make up for not having Brazil. Now, Brazil didn't exactly light the world on fire. Of course, we know he didn't play the whole game against Furman, but 13 points, 4 rebounds, 2 blocks. Lawson's going to have to be a dog in this game, along with Graham and Mekhi Mitchell. Graham is going to need to do better than what he did. We haven't seen a great Graham. I don't know that we've seen the Graham that we've expected. Now, I know he's had the injury and all that, but would love to see these guys either help facilitate on offense down in the paint like we've seen a little bit, move the ball around, try to dish to somebody else underneath the rim and get points. Move these guys around a little bit down low. It's going to be difficult to stretch the floor when you don't have Brazil, your 6'10", 6'10" guy that could score from just about anywhere on the floor. It's going to be difficult, right? And OU's probably going to try and overpopulate. That's not the right. They're going to try and crowd the paint. And when you've got Brazil who's out of this game, that is a massive piece on this board. Even if he's not super duper effective, like I've said over and over and over again, he's a guy when he's on, these teams are very well aware of what he's capable of doing. Everyone highlights Brazil. Everyone. That's the guy on film. They're watching. They're circling that guy. Watch him. We're gonna every time he's got the ball in his hands, we're gonna mount up defensively against this cat. Got to have some other guys step up. And yeah, you would love to see, again, Graham and Mitchell, but mostly Lawson with those long arms. Like to see him make some plays. 19 points, man. 3 blocks. We know what he can do. We know he can alter shots. He may not be the athlete Brazil is, but he can be a hell of an asset to these guys on both ends of the floor. And he was 1 for 2 against Furman outside shooting, right? He was 8 of 10 overall. And 1 of 2 outside, 2 for 2 at the free throw line. Let's see him clean up the boards a little bit. Let's see some more offensive rebounding. Let's see some more second chance shots. And Lawson has got to be at the front of that. He's got to stay out of foul trouble. Him and Mitchell both. Graham, need these guys to stay out of foul trouble. What else does Oklahoma do? Again, points per game, they're one of the best. Considering their who they've played so far, that's even more impressive. We know Arkansas is one of the best shot blocking teams in the country. They're currently ranked 3rd. Now, this might be a little out of date, but they're currently ranked 3rd, 7 blocks a game. OU's somewhere around the top 50. They're not a great shot blocking team. Arkansas's 3-point defense, and here's, again, where a team like Oklahoma, who's not a great 3-point shooting team, Arkansas's 3-point percentage allowed, they ranked 259th in the country, almost 35% off 70 attempts so far this year outside. I mean, I'm surprised they're not. I thought they'd be out like 300s. You know, I'm surprised they're not even lower or higher. They're horrible. Their perimeter defense has been nasty, gross, like in a bad way. Not nasty good, not like big nasty, like nasty, like ooh, someone needs to check their drawers nasty. Like it's not great in their perimeter defense. We've seen them at times step up and play cleaner ball outside. We've seen them at times play better perimeter defense, but just not consistently enough. It's horrible. OU doesn't, they're not a team they shouldn't be able to threaten you outside, but again, it doesn't matter. I think Fayetteville High, Springdale High, I think they could shoot the three ball pretty well or effectively against Arkansas's perimeter defense. The thing that they also don't do well, or statistically talking about Oklahoma, they don't get to the free throw line for shit. They're 231st in the country. They're not very good at drawing contact fouls. Now, we know Arkansas is aggressive. They're probably going to send OU to the free throw line quite a bit, but typically OU's not a great team at getting to the free throw line. But they do shoot pretty well there when they're there. Arkansas currently 8th in the country in getting to the free throw line. It's 28 attempts, shot attempts per game. Did I disconnect again? You guys are tagging me. Did I DC? Don't tell me I DC'd. Oh, okay. Someone's asking about the poll. Brian, it's there, man. The poll's there. It should be on your screen. Excited for Armstrong to return to Arkansas. 80% of you say yes. 4% of you say no. 16% of you say meh. I dropped again? You, Ty, some of us are having issue reading the poll. I mean, it's there, bro. I don't know what to tell you. That's a YouTube thing. I mean, it's there on my screen, Brian. OU players, Milos Uzin, 6'4", 193-pound guard. Javian McCollum, who we already talked about. This dude could be a problem. He's not real long. They don't have a lot of long guards. He's about 6'2". He's 160 pounds. Excuse me, not Greg. This font is really small. Otiga Owa, 6'5", 215-pound guard. Jalen Moore, 6'7", 222-pound forward. And Sam Godwin. They have a couple of 6'10 guys. Godwin and John Hewley are their two 6'10s. Now, Hewley's huge. 6'10", 275 pounds. So they've got a little bit of depth on the bench. That's what's going to be a big concern for them, right? All right, we are definitely over 30 minutes or 40 minutes. We're 5 minutes over, so I'm going to try and put an end on it. And apparently, once again, we're having audio problems. It's something, I swear to God, I don't know what is going on with that. It's empty. What's empty? Yeah, again, guys, that might be a YouTube thing. I don't know. If the poll's not up, or if you can't see it, then it's a YouTube problem. Drive to the basket. They can't block, and we can get to the foul line. It's probably going to be a recipe for success. Yeah, I mean, get to the free throw line. We're ranked 5th in block shots. That we are. Very good at it. Lawson, bet on that. Lawson facepalm. Bet on that dude, and he no-shows. Don't bet, and he goes off. Oh. Has that been frustrating for you, John? I'm sorry. I'll end the poll if you guys can't see it. I don't know why YouTube. This might be a YouTube problem. Or I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the audio. We'll be at the ball game tomorrow. I got family that are Sooner fans that will be there too. I hate OU. I feel for you, Grant. All right. Again, shout out to Patreon supporters. I don't know what's going on with you. Remember, I'm only here. It's up to YouTube and OBS as to whether or not we have a connection. So there's only so much I can do. But I do appreciate you guys being around. Sorry the poll didn't work for everybody. Don't know what that was about. I've never had that problem before. But that we ended on 78% of you saying yes about being excited for Armstrong to return. John says, I see it fine, and I have no issues with audio either. T-Mobile coming in clutch, but that's rare. It really did. I got a notification on my screen from my computer. It said OBS audio disconnected temporarily or something. Really strange. Okay. Again, like, share, subscribe. I will see you guys tomorrow for the post game. Really excited for Arkansas and Oklahoma. I want make sure I want you guys to make sure you put in your pick in Discord. OU versus Arkansas. Who you got? It is overwhelmingly Arkansas. I'm struggling, but I'm going to take Arkansas, but I think this could go either way. It feels like a coin flip. If Brazile were healthy and we knew he was playing, I would take Arkansas probably. I'd probably take Arkansas by 8 or 9. I think he makes that big of a difference. But, yeah, it's going to be tough without him. This really could end up being I could change my mind tonight. We're going to see Arkansas without Brazile. But this year, you feel a little bit better about some of the pieces they have behind him that can help. It may not be any one player. It could be a couple of guys that assist in one way or another. Defending that rim is going to be key. Oklahoma can get points in the paint. They can find ways. They can shoot some floaters, some 15-footers. Got to be on the up and up, everywhere. And you cannot allow them wide open looks outside, because if a team like Oklahoma, if they do manage to knock down some threes, they could peel you apart like an onion defensively. I mean, they're a very effective scoring team. Again, not a great reputation as an elite three-point shooting team, but they are certainly capable of finding ways to get points. Other than getting to the free throw line, they haven't done that very well. All right. So I did not keep it under 40 minutes. We all knew that wasn't going to happen, but I'm keeping it well under an hour at least. So I'm going to go hop in the shower really quick, get ready to go to this thing that starts in like 30 minutes. So luckily Lisa Academy is right down the road. I appreciate you guys. I will see you tomorrow for the best post-game live show around for Arkansas sports right here. Tuss Talk with Ty. I will see you tomorrow. Enjoy your Friday night. Thank God Friday's here. Thank God Friday's here. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.